And as for his former quarterback, Baker Mayfield, he's still on the Browns roster despite a trade request last month. Now, how about this from Panthers Robby Anderson reacting to a report that Carolina is most likely a landing spot for Baker, the wide receiver, with a clear and simple response. No.
Wow, is that how it sounded?
That's how it sounded to me. Like, that's probably also how it may sound to Baker Mayfield if he sees that. Robert, what do you make of Anderson's comment? I mean, that's public. Like, everybody sees it.
No.
Oh, yeah. Everybody saw that no on Instagram. And my first reaction was, Robby Anderson's played with more quarterbacks than O's that he had in that no in that comment. So who does he want to play with, right? Who does he want him to throw the ball? Because I'm actually interested in that because Robby Anderson's a dynamic player. So if Baker Mayfield does end up going to Carolina, it's going to be hella awkward in that locker room. But I will say this. Baker has to overcome the thought that he can't play well with star wide receivers. The OBJ Baker saga in Cleveland is probably what led Robby Anderson to that initial reaction of no, I don't want to play with Baker because he doesn't want to be the next guy that the blame is laid at his feet. So in that case, I understand where Robby's coming from, but Baker is the best quarterback he'd ever play with.
Yeah, just to remind people, just last week on the YNK podcast, Baker's talking about how he felt disrespected by the Browns. It's been over a month since Baker requested Adam the trade. Not a huge market for him, right? It's just as simple as that. Why is that, though?
Well, I think the first part is you look at the guaranteed money. $18.8 million in guaranteed money on the fifth-year option that the Cleveland Browns picked up. And teams know that Cleveland has to move on from him, inevitably. And so they are balking and have balked at paying that amount of money. What team out there right now needs a clear-cut starting quarterback? What team out there has $18.8 million in cap space to dedicate to its quarterback? What team out there views Baker as that surefire solution? Right now, there isn't and hasn't been a match that fits all those criteria. And so the Cleveland Browns are sitting back and waiting right now. I know people have talked about Carolina. I would not dismiss Carolina on Jimmy Garoppolo either. I think Carolina's looked at all options and will somehow come out of this draft with a quarterback, whether the Panthers draft for one, trade for Garoppolo, trade for Mayfield. There are some options on the table. We know how Robby Anderson feels about what the team would like to do. We'll see what the front office in Carolina decides.
Yeah, Shep, I agree with you that the money's playing its factor. It's also the personality of Baker Mayfield. I'm a Baker guy. I have been since the moment he came into this league. What I want from Baker Mayfield from this moment moving forward is to be more like Jameis Winston. I go back to 2 years ago, the offseason, when Jameis Winston, it was obvious Tom Brady had gone to Tampa Bay and he was going to find a new home. And Jameis had talked about not wanting to go to the most money, not wanting or needing to go to a place where he had to be the starting quarterback, to go to a place that he could develop for his career, to go to a place that he was going to be able to learn from somebody else, that he was humbled from his experience in some of the downfalls in Tampa Bay. And that's what I want to hear from Baker. You don't have to change who you are. You can still be that chip on your shoulder, walk on from both Texas Tech and Oklahoma, but also realize and be honest about the reality that there are some parts of your personality that are abrasive in NFL locker rooms, and they haven't been embraced by players. The quicker he does that, the more likely he can get back to being a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.